Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. And for today's video, we are reacting to a Los Angeles Lakers W, man. Never thought you would see it, would you, man? Never thought you would see a Crispy Flakes reacting to a Lakers W. I actually do think I have reacted to multiple Lakers wins over the NBA season. But apparently, I've been deemed as a Lakers hater, guys. And let me explain myself for 1 second here, man, okay? I'm not a Lakers hater, okay? The reason I've been deemed a Lakers hater is because at the beginning of the season, I picked the Clippers to win the NBA championship. And in my opinion, obviously people in LA are going to be different, but I don't associate the Clippers with the Lakers. I feel that they are their own two separate entities and franchises at this point. Back in the day, obviously the Clippers were the team that was always bullied and stuff like that. They were always like the worst team in the NBA. But no, I thought the Clippers were going to win the championship, as a lot of people did. I don't think it's really a hot take. Now, obviously, they didn't because, well, Kawhi Leonard didn't play great, in the closeout game, and, Paul George was trash, and yeah, man. And then, after that, it was Lakers and Heat in the finals. I was already looked upon as a Lakers hater because I picked the Clippers. I'm sorry. I thought that team was going to win. And then, I picked the Heat to win the finals. Now, it was not a logical choice. It was not even a choice where I was confident in. It was more like a choice of heart, just because I enjoy an underdog story. I would have picked the Heat against any team in the Western Conference Finals. Or I'm sorry, out of the Western Conference, just because I thought it was a really cool underdog story with the Miami Heat, and having two undrafted guys, having Jimmy Butler, that's kind of been through a lot of different teams at this point. So that's why I picked them. It was nothing against the Lakers, and obviously I was wrong about that, right? It's never really a safe bet to bet against LeBron James, and that actually was one of my rules that I always went with, was don't bet against LeBron James, and obviously I did. I didn't bet no money on the series or nothing like that, man. But yeah, so I guess just and as far as not reacting to the Laker W's in the finals, the reason I wasn't, man, is there was one day where I told you guys I was extremely sick. I happened to be when the Lakers won, and another time I was helping my brother move. So. I'm sorry if I came off like a Lakers hater, especially the Laker fans out there, because, I try not to be biased about NBA teams. I try not to let my, I don't really hate any NBA teams, man. Obviously I love the Pistons. Yes, I'm biased about the Pistons, but, much of it is just for entertainment and, joking and stuff like that, man. But, yeah, straight up, I don't really hate any NBA team. I never have and never will. To me, it's basketball, it's entertainment, it's a good time. Although, even after making this video, I'll still be deemed as a hater if I ever say anything negative about a team, which is going to happen, man. If you speak positive about every single team, that's just not realistic. So I will speak negative and positive about every team, given the circumstances that are presented in front of you, man. But yeah, we got the Lakers. See, I did watch this game, full disclosure, I did watch this game already, but obviously I had to react. If I didn't react to this, man, it would have been confirmed Crispy a Laker haters. Here we go. Lakers Heat, man, let's get it. Obviously, I'll pay attention to the highlights, but I think I want to use this opportunity maybe to talk about what I think the Lakers do this offseason, what I think the Miami Heat do this offseason, and kind of the direction of the NBA and stuff like that, man, because obviously, the NBA is, when I literally saw, the LeBron gamut like that, I was like, okay, we're in for a ball game. You can't just give LeBron James a wide open dunk to start the game like that, but they did. He was obviously a man on the mission, caught that baby in a foul. But no, okay, so this NBA offseason. By the way, last basketball game to react to, guys, probably till January. I'm not gonna react to on my channel, man. I've been all about the NBA games and stuff. You guys are gonna have to, shoot me some videos to react to and stuff like that. But also, low-key, I am debating a little bit, getting a tad away from NBA stuff and maybe toward, starting to react to some other stuff. We'll kind of see about that. But obviously, basketball too, because there's gonna be a lot of rankings and, people doing stuff like that and predictions. I love reacting to all that type of stuff, man. But, yeah, so Lakers offseason, number one priority, re-signing Anthony Davis. Outside of that, pretty much every single contract on the books was a one-year deal. So, obviously some of these guys will be back for depth reasons. It's not really a deep free agent class, so I don't really see them signing anybody big. I think they're going to save, their money for the 2021 NBA offseason. As far as trading for a Bradley. By the way, Rondo, playoff Rondo, man, that's the most realist reel I've ever seen. Straight up playoff Rondo, man, this guy was killing it, guys. And he was really making Jimmy Butler look a fool. The way he was attacking and stuff on him, Jimmy Butler, you better than that, man. But, yeah, so the Lakers, I do think that they're going to, once again, they're going to get some good free agents, but it's not going to be the cream of the crop. It's just going to be guys that can fit once again around Anthony Davis. and LeBron James. I can see maybe a guy like Goran Dragic even going to the Lakers, guys. Like, he would be the perfect point guard on that team, assuming he doesn't come back to the Miami Heat. But yeah, as far as the Heat goes, you know, obviously they need another piece. They were good, but they did lack that other piece. Now Goran Dragic going down with his foot injury and stuff wasn't great. Obviously, he tried playing this game, but he just wasn't the same. Like his first shot, he like hit like the side of the backboard. It was not great. But yeah, so I have a feeling the Heat are still going to end up with Chris Paul. Like, once again, I just feel like that's exactly what they needed. They needed like a Chris Paul, and I think with that. That means, you know, either Goran Dragic is going to go to a different team, which, like I say, he's getting older, so it wouldn't be the worst choice in the world despite how great he played in the playoffs. Or Kendrick Nunn goes to a different team. I think they would prefer to keep Kendrick Nunn just because of youth and stuff. So I can see them, you know, trading for a guy like a Chris Paul. How much that would cost? Well, they want a young player and like a draft pick, so that's what the Thunder are looking for. So I mean, you can even like keep Goran Dragic for the bench, and then you could trade Kendrick Nunn. There's your young player and a first-round pick or something like that, and that would probably get CP3 on the team and stuff. But yeah, and besides for that, you're gonna see guys like Tyler Hero just playing these NBA Finals, mature like crazy. I mean, he was 20 years old. I know he had a horrible NBA Finals. He had like one good game or something like that. But for the most part, he was playing like a 20-year-old. Like, he looked really rough out there, right, man? So, yeah, I do think that he'll be better, probably the starter next season. I think next season they go, my predictions for the starting five is going to be, well, it depends. Like, Duncan Robinson, he was only on a one-year deal. He's going to get a payday. Depends if they want to pay Duncan Robinson. I think you definitely do. Like, he was amazing. Like not all the time, but obviously one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. You want to keep a guy like that. So, but then it gets interesting because obviously Jimmy Butler's gonna be back on the team. Unless they decide not to go for a guy like CP3, you could run it next season with the team of, you know, Tyler Hero at point guard, Duncan Robinson at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3. I think they need a new power forward. I know Jay Crowder's fine, but I think there's definitely room to improve right there. Maybe go for like a Danilo Gallinari or somebody like that, and then Bam at the 5 spot. But yeah, this is a blowout game, man. So. Sorry I'm not talking too much about it. The Lakers were literally, we all watched it. Like, the Lakers were literally running circles around them the entire time. It was not pretty, man. KCP, yo, man, former Detroit Piston. I'm happy for KCP. You know, I'm actually happy for him. I'm really happy that he found himself a role. You know, on the Pistons, he was looked upon as supposed to be like the guy. On the Lakers, he was the guy, which is very important to have, you know, for championship teams. So good for him, man. Also, Markieff Morris was a bought-out player by the Pistons that got himself a championship. Also, shout out to him too, man. But yeah, it's going to be, I don't know if it's even going to be an interesting offseason. I think the most interesting thing about the offseason is going to be the NBA draft and kind of what happens with that. So, for the NBA draft, obviously the Lakers are going to have, like, the last pick or whatever. The Heat are not going to have a great pick either, I don't believe. But, yeah, that's going to be the interesting aspect. Free agency is going to be pretty, I think it's going to be pretty low-key. I feel like a lot of teams, you know, obviously with the NBA shutdown happening and being delayed for 6 months, and even the bubble, just the mental toll it took on some players and stuff. I feel like a lot of teams are going to be in the kind of like that run it back type of thing this next NBA season, just because they feel like maybe they didn't see like their full potential. You know what I'm saying, man? You know, prime example I would probably say is the Boston Celtics. Like the Boston Celtics, Kemba Walker just was not the same player in the bubble, not the player we know that he is, you know, when the actual NBA season, like arenas and everything like that, it's just, you know, status quo and stuff like that. So I think a team like that's probably going to run it back. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to have to make some sort of move. I don't think, you know, they could, if they don't try something, Giannis is going to leave, so they got to definitely, you know, get some sort of pieces out there. But I do think it's going to be the free agency of role players. I think we're going to see a lot of really solid role players maybe get 1 or 2 year deals where they just get a lot of money, because no team is going to really want to, they'd rather overpay for a short-term contract for a really solid role player as opposed to, you know, spend too much money over the course of mini seasons or whatever and then not have money for free agency, man. Because 2021 is the big year, right? That's when there's a lot of big name free agents. A lot of guys are due for paydays. So that's going to be really interesting, man. But yeah, there we go. Rondo shooting threes. Rondo, the second player, guys, in NBA history to win a championship with the Lakers and the Celtics, which just kind of sounds like a Rondo thing. I don't know why, because Rondo's always kind of had like the attitude to him that just like don't care attitude. And I don't know what, he's a champion. I don't think he cares that he got one of the Celtics and the Lakers, man. That's actually a really kind of a real cool story for him. 2 of the most storied franchises. Lakers also tied the Boston Celtics for the most championships in NBA history with 17. So Celtics, they're coming for him, man. What y'all gonna do to stop it, guys? You got Jason Tatum, right? You got Jason Tatum out there. Hopefully you guys can stop that from happening. Ooh. I'm low-key going to be rooting for a Lakers-Celtics finals matchup next year. That would be absolutely awesome just for that reason. Like, can you imagine them both going for that? Is like, just for that, you know, that overall, just like the bragging rights and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool to see. But yeah, what else we got to talk about here, man? Dwight Howard. Yo, Dwight Howard won a championship in Orlando. In a weird way. It's just so weird because, like when he went to the Lakers, that was, like, the beginning of the end for Dwight Howard, where it's just like, man, he's just not the same player. He's got, like, back injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, man, that he got himself a championship on the Lakers in his second stint around as more of a role player. Actually didn't even play in this game. He played the last game, wasn't very good, you know, just was more of a liability at times. But despite that, like, Dwight Howard, shout out to him, man. Like, that's what I love seeing is some of these guys, like the Rondos, like the Dwight Howards of the world, that were once, like, all-star superstar players, taking this limited role, check their ego aside, and that's it, man. What do you guys think's gonna happen to Kyle Kuzma, by the way? Do you feel like Kuzma is gonna be back, or do you think he gets traded? I'm actually doing a Lakers rebuild on my main channel, Crispy Flakes, if you guys do want to check that out. But yeah, so I don't really know, guys. I am going to miss basketball a lot. I mean, you know, we went through a lot to get here, right? We went through a lot just as far as, like, waiting and not really knowing what's going on in the bubble and everything, and we got to finish the NBA season, which is really cool. By the time next season starts, it's going to be like 11 or maybe even a full year since I last watched the Pistons game, which is the longest time because typically, you know, you only got to wait about 3 or 4 months between NBA seasons. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It doesn't make my Pistons even better. I mean, it's not like my Pistons are going to be any better, but it just kind of, like, prolonged them getting better because it's like, I don't know, man. I don't really know if that makes sense or not. But yeah, LeBron James, man, shout out to you. You know, LeBron James, 4-6, guys. Now, I know people are, you know, obviously LeBron haters are going to look at MJ 6-0 and stuff, and they're really going to keep on throwing that in his face. But 4-6 ain't bad. And the fact that he made it to 10 NBA Finals, I think, is a hell of a feat itself, bro. Like, getting to 10 NBA Finals, that's crazy. Look at him go out there. Oh, I thought I was going to make that. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. At this point, I was not paying close attention, guys. It was a blowout. It was a boring game. It was a really boring game. And that was my disappointing aspect of this, is just how boring it was. You know, there was really good games in this NBA Finals. Thank God for that. It seems like whenever the Heat won, it was the exciting games just because it was close games and stuff like that. But, yeah, there was a few really bad blowouts out here, man. But here they are going crazy. You love to see it. Jared Dudley probably going to retire. Anthony Davis crying over there. You just feel like the emotional toll of not only the excitement of win the championship, but also getting to go home and see your family. Like, you got to be happy for all these guys down here, man. I want to say, you know, shout out to the Miami Heat. You guys played one hell of a season. You guys made a lot of believers out there. You know, obviously you couldn't pull it off, but hey, you guys were still there, and there's something to be said about that. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop that like. Subscribe if you're to my channel, guys. And peace out.